One of the biggest realizations that I had for myself was that I was too afraid to admit that I was afraid. I didn't think that was the done thing. I was told, I was conditioned, if you like, that guys don't do that. Guys don't show feelings. Guys have got to be, tough. They've got to be strong. They don't show emotions. They have to be a certain way. And admitting that you're afraid of something was almost a weakness, or was a weakness. It was seen as a sign of weakness. And I carried that for a long time. I was afraid to admit that I was afraid. But here's the thing. It's okay to be afraid. It's all right. And yet it still stands. I still see a lot of people socially conditioned not to show the feel, I'm afraid. No, that's not me. It's something else. Or, yeah, I could do it, but I'm not going to. That kind of thing, But when I realized that it was okay to be afraid, to admit that I was afraid was a sign of power, that I got to challenge and got to see where my fear was coming from, and then got to challenge it and then lean into it and see how real it really was for me. That's when I realized that. That's where the power is. And to be able to do that is to have that first admit that you're scared and it's okay. That's the first thing. Next thing, what can I do to move forwards? What steps can I move forwards? It doesn't have to be a huge declaration, because that could just be too scary and just freak our brains out. But what it can be a step. One day, one step. The first step, of course, always feels the scariest. But remember, the feeling is driven by the thought about the thing. That's what I understand with guys and girls. But guys, because I am one, I get what people feel. And it comes down to persistence. Once you understand what the fear is, then you take that step. The key to getting rid of that fear, to overcome it, to challenge its very existence, is to persist, no matter how you feel about it. At first it might feel as big discomfort. Maybe you're starting a gym, you're starting an exercise program. You feel that you might be judged. You're scared that you might be judged because of how you are, how unfit you are, how overweight you are, or whatever it is. It could be that you're starting a new job, a new relationship. All these things can create fear. And instead of admitting that you're afraid, that you are actually afraid, which is the big sin, which is bullshit, of course, but that's the perception. You get to then take a step to show yourself that it's all right that you were afraid. And it was okay that you were afraid, to admit that you were afraid. It's crazy, isn't it? But that admittance, that showing up and saying, okay, I admit I'm afraid and I was afraid to show it. Instead of that, take action. One thing, and then persist with it. If it's a training program, get to it. One day at a time. If things come up to challenge you to not do that training program, persist anyway. This is where the key is. It's in the persistence, it's in the consistency, and it's in the things that you day by day, even if you feel that you don't want to do them. Because remember, the feeling is coming from a thought that doesn't serve you. It always starts back. Feelings are downstream. They're a result. Get to be persistent. Be persistent. Persistence is key. Day after day after day. Do what you said you were going to do. If you said you were going to do a 28-day challenge, do the 28 days. If you said you were going to spend 6 months getting yourself in shape, plan it out and then do the work. Take the steps every day. Do what you said you were going to do. Because when you do that, when you get persistence, when you are consistent with your persistence, when the frequency is there every day or whatever time you said you were going to show up, get it done. Because that's when it builds a winning mentality, a warrior mentality, one which becomes courageous because you prove to yourself that can be done. So what else in your life can you prove can be done? What can you show yourself That it's all right to be. That I can do that. Or maybe I can. I've just proved myself I've done that. How can I then take that template, that success, and say, okay, let's translate it, transmute it onto the next thing. There is no rules to say you cannot, other than the ones you make up. Challenge those rules every day. Challenge what you've set in your mind. If it doesn't serve, if it's trying to prevent you from doing something that you said you were going to do, that you're committed to do it anyway. And watch what happens. Because the only way you'll get consistency and persistency is to keep doing it despite how you feel, despite what you think. Because all that is bullshit anyway. If you've made a commitment to yourself, carry it out. Where are you not doing that? For me, it was not showing up in my business, not showing up with all my, being unapologetically me, showing up all my, my twists and turns, my, what I thought was weaknesses or what I wasn't good at. Just turn up anyway. Because when you start doing that, in whatever you want to turn up in, watch what happens. Now, I've just done 166 videos, day by day, and I know this video today is a world away from the first one, and I'll keep going because I know it helps me move forwards. So what areas of life are you not moving forwards? What are you afraid to commit to? What are you afraid to admit that you were afraid of? And start there. If you need help with this, anytime, if you want to know how I did this, how I started this journey, how I persist, well, stay tuned because I'm going to show you day by day. But ask, and I will help you. Until tomorrow, take care.